Tom Hand here with Americana Corner. Today we're discussing the 50-year war for the old Northwest Territory. At the conclusion of the French and Indian War in 1763, the British gained possession of all French lands in North America, including the Northwest Territory, which was then part of Canada. Unlike the French, who allied themselves with the Indian nations, the British treated the natives as a conquered people. And for the next 50 years, there was continuous conflict between white settlers and Indians in this region. In 1763, an Ottawa chief named Pontiac organized a confederacy of Indian nations across the southern crescent of the Great Lakes and initiated a war that captured 8 British forts and killed hundreds of settlers and soldiers until the British Army finally regained control of the region in the fall of 1764. 4 years later, beginning with the Treaty of Fort Stanwix, British and later American officials began acquiring native lands in a series of treaties. But as the Indians ceded more land and more white settlers established homesteads on that land, the resentment of the Indians intensified and violence against the settlers became more frequent. During the American Revolution, the British supplied the Indians with weapons and gunpowder, and attacks on American settlements increased even more, until Kentucky militiamen, led by George Rogers Clark, destroyed Shawnee strongholds. With the conclusion of the war in 1783, the Indians in the Northwest lost the support of the British and attacks slowed for a couple years. But a brilliant Mohawk chief named Joseph Brant formed the Northwestern Confederacy that once again united Indian tribes in the region, and attacks commenced anew. In 1790, President George Washington ordered General Josiah Harmer to assemble an army and finally end the atrocities. But Harmer was defeated by a coalition of warriors led by Little Turtle. Embarrassed by the setback, the president ordered General Arthur St. Clair, the territorial governor, to take a second force north to put down the rebellion. But in 1791, St. Clair also was defeated, suffering the greatest loss ever inflicted on the United States Army by Native Americans in the Battle of the Wabash. Finally, in 1794, General Anthony Wayne and his Legion of the United States destroyed the Northwestern Confederacy at the Battle of Fallen Timbers. The following year, General Wayne dictated the Treaty of Greenville, which reserved the southeastern 2/3 of Ohio for white settlement, and the rest of the Northwest Territory for Indians. Peace reigned for a time, but then between 1803 and 1809, 15 more land treaties were signed, 12 by William Henry Harrison, governor of the Indiana Territory. And Indians, unhappy with the loss of their land, rose once again. Next week, we'll discuss Tecumseh and his Confederacy. Until next time, may your love of country lead you.